Hello, this is Compound Interest Stock Guy, your cannabis authority. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Don't be shy. I post videos fairly frequently now. I talk about commodities, I talk about cannabis, and I've just made a few videos about dividend growth investments and, all the whole gamuts. I've experienced a lot of different stuff, from options to OTC stocks to NASDAQ stocks and all that good stuff. But yeah, I want to disclose I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment information purposes. Do not buy or sell based on anything I talk about. Buy or sell after you did your own research, due diligence, or you've spoken with a financial advisor. So in this video, we're going to be talking about MARIMED. So MARIMED advisors, they are basically strategic advisors, but they also own 33.3% of GenCanna, which is pretty much the biggest hemp player in all of USA. Yeah, bigger. It's big. They just did the biggest harvest of all time in all of USA. They are in Kentucky, so they're also doing distribution, and they have dispensaries, and they're doing the CBD business with GenCanna. So they also have their own lineup of products, so they're really kind of mapping themselves out. The quarter before that, they did really good. They did about 25 million, and I think they did, it's like 2 million in net income. But this quarter, they didn't even do a net income because there was fires. So yeah, there's some people saying they got doing operational income, but that's not the same as actual like a net income or a net loss. So I'm a little deeper than that. It's like a net loss, a net income. That's the reality of the business. So based on some stuff that happened, they did a net loss last quarter, so they've been really took into the cleaners. I bought them and it even went down, but now I'm doing good now that it had a good week this week. But anyways, the point is that GenCanna is very big, and so GenCanna, they did 14 million pounds of CBD rich biomass. So by my estimations, that the percentage of the CBD is probably somewhere around 2%. Okay, so now 2 to 3%. Okay, so at 2% at 14 million pounds, you got to divide that by like 50. So you're talking about like 300,000 kilograms of CBD isolate. Okay, so if you want to buy a kilogram of isolate of CBD, pure isolate, that's about $4,000 USD. So 300,000 by 4,000, like you're talking about a big whack of money, and that's the business. I mean, they're working with these big players. So I sold my GRWG and I got some MRMD, and I like both fucking companies straight up, but I think GenCanna is set to explode, just because I think even VFF, they're doing a lot of CBD as well, but now they're doing get to do licenses in Illinois and Massachusetts, these very rich cannabis states. So yeah, MRMD, they are around 200 million shares out, market cap of about 170 million, but they are definitely like a company that's got massive potential. They're not hitting their stride yet, but they're definitely set to be amazing. They have deals with Harvest One for CBD products in USA, because GenCanna basically can do bulk like CBD products for all these companies. If they have a topical line or all this stuff. They're just humongous. So I found out about that. I mean, I was never really interested in looking into MRMD, but when I found out about that, I was sold about the Gen Canna deal and being like the biggest CBD player in USA. Especially when you see like Charles Webb go to like $3.5 billion, and like MRMD as other stuff. Now CBD space is kind of getting it's very it's not very good right now, but at the same time, like, they're also working on CBG. Like, they're gonna make a lot of money on their CBD. Don't get that twisted. I'm just saying though, there's a lot of more competition, but Gen Canna is like the leader for the CBD, and they can do all these orders for Harvest One when they have Dreamwater CBD into Walmart, for their topical line, for what other company does Dreamwater and Sadie Farm and all this stuff. Like, oh, the CBD gel capsules from Sadie Farm, they could make those. Like, they can help make them. That would be the big bulk supply of the CBD rich biomass of 14 million pounds, which is ginormous. So I mean, when you get down in the nitty gritty, I mean, it's a pretty big business, like 33%. So they get they get some profits of the whole deal. It's kind of like hard to explain, but I just based it on their last, their last financials weren't that great, but I think their next financials and like moving up, they're really heading in the right direction for the near term. They did get kicked down from bad news, but that was probably just a big buying opportunity. I'm thinking they're probably going to hit some resistance somewhere around like $152. So something to watch out for if you were interested in this company. But yeah, I just wanted to share the reasons why it's been because there's a lot of solid backing, like Illinois and Massachusetts and all stuff like that, and they're really making their waves. They had a bad quarter, but the market took them down, but they're just getting back up. So I mean, it may be a little choppy in getting up to $1, but I think it's gonna have a good year. But again, it's not the safest company to invest into. There's other companies to invest into that are a little safer, such as Valence Growworks or Metafarm Labs and VFF. And I mean, in the cannabis space, it's really hard. I mean, Crohn's got that money, so Crohn's definitely something to watch. I'm not super fan of Canopy. When you start to dissect about the price per gram to do all that stuff, for the beverages, like what they're trying to sell, like 10 milligrams of THC. I don't know, if they start selling a lot, I mean, yeah, I think Canopy can go up a lot, but I just think their spend, even though like the amount of money that they can make on these profit margins, if they really tighten their belt and became more cost efficient with all assets of their business, then I'd be saying good things about them. I'm just a realist. I ain't gonna say negative things. If I just speak my mind. Some people don't like what I have to say, but at the end of the day, I like honesty. I just like the truth, because I'm out there trying to find winners in the cannabis space, in the commodity space, all over. Who knows what other kind of, maybe I'll buy Coca-Cola, this year. There's all different options. The thing that could happen is just like some hyperinflation with maybe military or something like that, the military industrial complex, so they want to push it up. Crude could go really high, and then as well as just that would make a lot of things more expensive. It'd probably push the SPY to record lengths. I mean, SPY is at about 325. I don't know when it's gonna push down. You know, ideally is with the SPY would push down, and like you'd see Apple and Tesla and AMD and Microsoft and Intel and all these other companies that are just at 52-week highs. They've never been this high in forever. Some of them haven't been even close to this high, and it just keeps going higher and higher. I love to see them go down, and then all that money just get transferred towards the philosophy that cannabis is a $1 trillion industry, which I believe it is. And then all that money just floods to cannabis, and then it just pushes these stocks up like 3 to 6 times in a very short time, and it'd be beautiful. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I don't think it's going to work out exactly like that. I think it's just going to be towards the companies that are undervalued, and they have a place in the space. They have a business, you know, like retailers that are growing their business, like Tilt. You know, they're selling more and more vapes because they're in other you know, now they're in Canada with their C-cell vapes. Or you're talking about companies that are in more provinces, or they got more screws out, or they're extracting more, or they just moved into Illinois. But I mean, Cresco and GTI are pretty expensive, so it's hard to say, like, digest, like, if they're really a buy. I mean, I think they can go a lot higher when the cannabis companies start really flying higher. But as far as a value sentiment, I'm not really a buyer at Cresco or GTI. But again, I don't mind if they went up a lot. Anyways, keep compounding your info. Listen to my lingo. This is MRMD with Gen Canna on 33%. Big CBD player in USA, 14 million pounds. Keep compounding your info. Listen to my lingo. Shaka. Ka. Peace.